Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be going over 6 fantasy football players that should, emphasis on the should, you never know in fantasy football, they should perform well in week 13. They have all the right pieces, have good matchups, and so forth. But before we get into this video, I want to encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button. Please, we are so close to 1,000 subs. I think we'll be there, honestly, by next week at some point. I want to thank you all so much for the support. And also at the end, if you do enjoy, drop a thumbs up on the video. It always helps me out. All right, everybody. So the first person on this list is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. for the sole reason that Antonio Gibson has not practiced yet this week. I'm recording this on Thursday night. If Antonio Gibson is a full participant on Friday, or they say that he's ready to go on Sunday, I'd limit your expectations a little bit on this guy. But as of right now, he's got to be the guy in Washington. I don't care if they're losing this game. I don't care if they're winning this game against the New York Giants. I expect it to be close. Divisional matchup, of course. But coming off his week against the Atlanta Falcons, 18 carries, 105 yards. And the main thing that we're looking at is he finally caught some passes. 2 catches for 20 yards. I know it's not like 5 or 6 catches, but still, it's something. It's a start because he has 6 catches the whole year in 8 games played. That's not even a catch per game. So in PPR leagues, that's a big problem. But Brian Robinson with his big hat should perform well if he's the only running back in this backfield. That's why he's on this list. It's not as good of a matchup against the Giants. They're 15th in the league against running backs. So that's middle of the road. He's going to get more volume in this one, I would expect. Hopefully 3, 4, 5 catches from Brian Robinson, and I'm feeling good about starting him in week 13 here. All right, everybody. So number 2 on this list is Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer has been on every single one of these videos where players should perform well for the last 3 weeks, I believe. That's because Mike Williams is just not practicing. And I expect him to miss again this week. Keenan Allen is back. He's finally healthy. He's looking good, so you can feel confident about starting him. But then you're looking for a wide receiver to fill that void as the wide receiver 2 in Los Angeles. And I think there's no better guy right here than Josh Palmer. Last week, not the greatest against the Arizona Cardinals. All right, 5 catches, 56 yards on 7 targets, 10.6 PPR fantasy points. This week, a much better matchup against the Las Vegas Raiders, who are known to give up a ton of points. They are actually 22nd in the league against fantasy wide receivers giving up points. So I would expect 15 or so fantasy points for Josh Palmer. All the pieces are there. As long as Mike Williams misses, like I said before, I feel confident about starting Josh Palmer in week 13 again. All right, coming in at number 3 here, we have a rare tight end spotting. I usually don't cover tight ends because, like I've mentioned in previous videos, my league doesn't even play with tight ends. They're just rotated into flex, but I know a lot of you guys do play with tight ends. So Tyler NIGBEE is going to be a great play this week going up against the Seattle Seahawks, who are ranked 31st against tight ends in points given up. And last week, he dropped 0 points. He had 0 targets because Bryce Perkins was the quarterback. That's not going to happen again. Once Matt Stafford is back in this lineup, he should perform like he normally does. I feel like there's no way he drops another 0 donut. If he does, come back to the comments and roast me. As long as Matt Stafford plays, though, I'm going to feel confident about putting Tyler NIGBEE in my lineup. He still hasn't practiced as of Thursday, so I'm starting to get a little bit worried as of what this injury actually is, because they said it's a concussion for Matt Stafford. He's coming back from a concussion, got another concussion, and now he hasn't practiced for more than a week. So usually concussions, they're cleared within a week or around a week. This is longer than that. So I'm getting a little nervous, but if Matt Stafford plays, Tyler NIGBEE, good to go. Next up on this list is Christian Kirk. I expect a big bounce back game from Kirk here. Trevor Lawrence is playing very well as of late, which you love to see. And they're also going against the Detroit Lions, who are ranked 30th in points given up to wide receivers this year in fantasy and PPR leagues, that is. The spot is great. I think he was injured for a majority of the game last week. That's why he didn't acquire too many targets. Zay Jones had like 14 targets. I don't think that happens again. Christian Kirk is still the clear #1 wide receiver in Jacksonville. Very undervalued, very underrated this year in fantasy. He's gonna have another great week here. He should have have another great week here. All right, next up on this list is a guy that's pretty well known. I mean, you're going to start this guy no matter what, but I expect him to have a better game than normal. Nick Chubb going against the Houston Texans. Not much really here to talk about other than that the Texans are 32nd against fantasy running backs this year. If that doesn't tell you enough about this matchup, I don't know what does. All the hype is going to be on Deshaun Watson. Who's he going to throw to? Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think Nick Chubb comes out of nowhere. Not nowhere. Like, you're expecting Chubb to have a good game every single week, but this week especially, I think he takes over 1 or 2 touchdowns for Nick Chubb. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm going against him in fantasy, but if it does happen, I would not be shocked. They are in Houston though, not at home. Not really too worried about this matchup regardless. I'm still playing Nick Chubb and I'm feeling very good about it. Next up on the list is AJ Brown going against his former team in the Tennessee Titans, who are currently bottom 5 in points given up against fantasy wide receivers, which is a great spot for him. He's been underperforming as of late, in part due to the offense, the run offense being so good on this Eagles team. I mean, last week against the Green Bay Packers, it was just running down their throat the entire time. They didn't even need to pass that often. So there's always that possibility when you're playing an Eagles wide receiver like AJ Brown, like Devonta Smith, that they just don't get the necessary targets to perform because the running game is working so well. I don't think that's going to be the case. The Tennessee Titans defense is actually very good against the run this year, but they do lack against the pass. Like I said, past 3 weeks for AJ Brown is not what you drafted him for in PPR leagues, especially 1.7, 9.0, 12.6. I think this is the week that he does well. Let's hope to God I'm right. I'm an Eagles fan. We need you, AJ Brown. This is your pop-off game. Let's do it for your fantasy owners. Let's do it for your Eagles fans. Let's go here. It's go time. All right, last but not least, I want to throw in a little extra play for you. This is a sneaky one. This is a little bit of a sneaky one, and it might pan out. It might not pan out. Jaylen Warren, all right? Najee Harris exited the game last week against the Indianapolis Colts with what was proved to be an oblique injury, and he's being held out of practice so far this week. Matt Canada said that he's hopeful that he'll play, which doesn't give me the greatest hope that it'll be 100%. So I want you guys to go on your waiver wire. If he's still available, let's see how many leagues he's available in. He's only rostered in 13% of leagues on ESPN. So what? 87% of leagues he's not rostered in. Pick this guy up. If Najee Harris does not play, this is an automatic start against a Atlanta Falcons defense that is not good. Bottom 5 against running backs this year. You're feeling great about the matchup. You're feeling really good about this matchup. And you can thank me later if he does end up starting. It could win you your week. Anyways, guys, if any of this information did help you, like I said in the beginning of the video, make sure to drop a like and also hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1,000. Appreciate everybody. Good luck in your week 13 matchups. I'll catch you later. Peace.